In recent years, gun violence has been rising exponentially due to events such as the Parkland shooting and many others where assault-style rifles similar in power and accuracy to modern military-grade weapons were used by average citizens, who through blurry state laws and loopholes are able to get their hands on such destructive firepower. Putting weapons in the hands of the average citizen is dangerous if they are not well trained, but the fact that assault-style rifles are being sold to the average citizen should be a problem, especially when those with mental illnesses can find ways to get their hands on them. When it comes to our Second Amendment, I'm all for it, but when the arms that were made to protect us becomes the one that slay us, all because they fall into the wrong hands, it becomes a problem. My name is Joseph Alasea, and today I would like to speak to you about our current assault rifle laws and how I believe we can change them. The three topics I would like to speak to you all about are what an assault rifle is, its potential for destruction, the current gun laws in place, and how we can change these laws so that tragedies can be avoided. Hopefully by the end of my speech you'll know more about this problem and what we can do to solve it. Now, for my first topic, I would like to speak to you about what an assault rifle is. Though the phrase assault rifle has become popular, many people don't know exactly what it is. An article by CNBC explains some of the confusion behind what an AR actually is. What constitutes as an assault rifle is a continuous issue and something that riles up some gun advocates. In fact, many large gun groups consider assault weapons as a made up and ambiguous term invented by anti-gun lobbies in the 1980s, maintaining that guns don't actually assault people. That said, the industry's traditional definition of an assault rifle is a weapon with select fire capabilities, such as single fire, semi-automatic fire, and full automatic fire. Now, when people speak about guns, they say guns don't kill people, but I believe guns in some way can. If a child grabs a gun, the child doesn't know what the gun is capable of or what the gun can do. The child could do a lot of harm. And also, what I believe there's no use for assault-style weapons to the normal civilians. For a fact is, when it comes to hunting, we mostly use rifles, which are single fire or handguns. The use of an automatic or semi-automatic weapon, I believe, would be overkill. Now, the second topic I want to speak to you about are the current laws in place. Now, when it comes to the gun laws, there's basically two things. There's federal law and there's state law. Federal law is a bit ambiguous on the regulations they have. They basically leave it up to states to decide what laws they want to enact and things like that. Now, when it comes to states like California and Connecticut, they have one of the most strictest gun laws in the world. And then it comes to states like Virginia and things like that, where they only have a couple of them. Now, an article by the Washington Post says Virginia has 2 of the 7 firearm laws, but has some of the loosest gun restriction laws in the country. Now, by reading that, we can see that though it has 2 of the 7, it is still one of the loosest compared to other states where they have no regulation, which is something that I find pretty weird, for the fact that states which have no laws according to weapons are actually a bit stricter when it comes to these states that I said, like Virginia. Now, the third thing I want to speak to you about are what I believe we can do to change the situation. I believe if we lobby, protest, or petition, and we get more people involved, we can change the way assault rifles are seen in our environment or in where we live. The fact that assault rifles are able to be purchased by citizens is something I believe that we shouldn't be able to do. These weapons were made for war, for basically murder. And the fact that average civilians could get their hands on them is very troubling. Because why would you own an assault rifle if it's not for the intention to do harm or murder? What's the point? I understand defense, but an assault rifle is just overkill. When you want to defend your home, why not just use a pistol or better alarm systems, or actually rely on the police? This is things that they get paid for. Now, what I believe we should do is reinstate the federal weapons ban, which was enacted in September 13, 1994. But after a couple years, the ban was lifted, and now people are trying to reenact it, but it's been getting shut down by Congress and other lawmakers constantly. According to an article by CNN, semi-automatic weapons are not protected by the Second Amendment. Federal government and states can outlaw them. And I believe that even though our Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms, when they made these laws, what they had in mind was the weapons that we had before. Slow loading weapons, which used a small metal ball and gunpowder and things like that. Basically, there's no purpose and no reason for us to have these in our society. And I think I think all of us as a whole should do what we can to make these guns illegal. Now that I spoke to you about my 3 topics, and I've told you how I feel about the situation. Hopefully you guys can take this information and take the initiative and do what you can to change these laws. Thank you, and have a great night.
Yeah.